about the pushbacks. Well played. Brilliant team effort. Rosa Lee, Angela, Darren, take the 19 grand, split it equally. You've outrun the chaser. Congratulations. You've not been caught. We'll see you next time on The Chase. Goodbye.
Potato.
Live from Brisbane, 7 News with Kendall Gilding.
Good afternoon. Our top stories this Monday. Damning documents. The Palaszczuk government blasted over its handling of a media conference during a murder investigation. Police move in, the latest on the search for Leslie Trotter. D-Day at Curran Cove, essential services set to be cut off. And the South East's last-minute Olympic precinct, where the venue will be built. Good afternoon. The opposition has blasted the Palaszczuk government over the handling of a media conference during a high-profile murder investigation. Documents reveal the Youth Justice Minister was told to stay away. Marlena Watt, the LNP, says the documents are damning.
Yeah, Kendall, the documents deal with text messages and emails between government media advisors and the minister late last year. It was on the 27th of December, the day after Emma Lovell was murdered on Brisbane's north side in North Lakes. The minister told a staffer that she'd be attending a media conference with police in the afternoon, but the staffer replied that police did not want the minister to go and wanted her to instead hold a separate media conference. Well, within minutes, someone from the Premier's office sent a text message advising that there'd been a change in plans and the minister would be joining the police.
The only intervention was the Premier's office. So the Premier has a lot of explaining to do today as to why she thinks it's appropriate that her office muscle in on a police investigation and to make sure her minister was at that press conference.
At times, ministers join press conferences to make it easier all round for everybody. No, I don't think there's a problem.
We still don't know exactly why the QPS wanted the minister to stay away, but we will be hearing from the Police Commissioner about this coming up in the news at 6 o'clock.
Marlena Watt, live at State Parliament. Thank you. And there's still time to have your say on which political issues are most important to you and whether our politicians are doing enough. Visit our Facebook page or 7news.com.au to take our quick survey. We'll bring you those results tonight at 6. There's been a fresh development in the search for the body of missing Toowong woman Leslie Trotter. Police have moved in on a Swanbank dump ahead of a major search for the 78-year-old later this week.
They've done an extraordinarily good job of isolating the areas that have to be searched. So now the tough job starts of searching those areas thoroughly.
Detectives believe her body was in a wheelie bin outside her home before it was collected by a rubbish truck last month. Foul play hasn't been ruled out. It's D-Day for residents and property owners at Curran Cove on South Stradbroke Island. Josh Ribberich, they're expected to lose all services, including power and water, any moment now.
Yeah, that's right, Kendall. Good afternoon. And the residents are also expecting the marina, the front of the marina, to actually be closed off. Now, residents have spent all morning preparing for these essential services to be cut off. One resident that we spoke to had a couple of his apartments filled up, the bathtubs filled up with fresh water, expecting that water to be cut off at any moment. Now, there's expected to be power, gas and water all cut off, but residents have told us, many of them have told us, they won't be leaving. There was some tensions this morning between one resident and a member of the Body Corporate Precinct. Let's hear how that unfolded.
You are a
He does not want
calling
Certainly fiery there. Now, the service provider says he's been left with no choice but to do this, as he's been owed unpaid millions in unpaid levies, and that he's actually been continued, the Body Corporate's been continued not to be paid through the Body Corporate Precinct. They say, the Body Corporate Precinct says that they're using that money to defend themselves in court against the service provider himself. All of this has added to mounting calls from the state government to appoint an independent manager to sort out this fuse. As for the hundreds of residents here tonight, well, they're expecting to have a very, very dark night without any water, power or gas. Kendall?
Some tense times there. Josh Ribberich reporting live from Curran Cove. Thank you. Police have suspended the search and rescue operation for a missing fisherman who disappeared 150 kilometres off the coast of Mackay. 41-year-old Scott Jaspers was out with his brother and a friend on Thursday when their boat capsized.
We estimated probably to a day and a half to 2 days was about the most you could stay alive out there.
Early investigations suggest a large wave caused the boat to capsize. Controversial Senator Lydia Thorpe has been banned from a Melbourne strip club after she unleashed a tirade of abuse on a group of men. As Chanel Vella explains, Senator Thorpe has defended her actions, maintaining she was provoked.
Lydia Thorpe has found herself on the ban list of this Melbourne strip club after the general manager alleged she made inappropriate comments inside, followed by a stoush with 3 men outside. The vision obtained exclusively by 7 News shows Miss Thorpe arguing with men at 3 a.m. on Sunday morning outside erotic lounge Maxine's, where Miss Thorpe and friends had just finished celebrating a 50th birthday.
All I want to say to the black brothers there, and anyone that we're fighting, any black man that stands with a white little like that, you can all get too.
How the did someone get in Parliament like you?
We've been oppressed all our life in this country, and you let this little dog speak.
Miss Thorpe maintains that she was provoked, but the reaction from her Parliament colleagues has been damning.
I haven't seen the details of what went on there, but as a general rule, I don't think anything good happens after midnight.
I think the behaviour that you see on that video is obviously unacceptable. It doesn't matter whether you're a member of Parliament or your average person.
The General Manager has written to Miss Thorpe advising her of the ban and adding that any attempt to gain entry to the venue could cause her further embarrassment.
At least 4 people have been murdered and dozens injured in a mass shooting at a 16th birthday party in a small town in Alabama. US correspondent Tim Lester explains.
For Americans exhausted by news of gun violence, a new extreme, a gunman opening fire inside a birthday party for a 16-year-old. Police and ambulances flood the small town of Dadeville, Alabama. The Sweet 16 celebration in a dance studio turning deadly as an unidentified gunman began shooting.
There are 28 individuals that were injured during the course of the incident.
And fears the death toll will climb. One hospital believed to be treating 5 people in critical condition.
We absolutely need everyone to continue to pray for those individuals to allow them to recover from what they're enduring.
So far, police are saying nothing on whether the killer or killers remain at large, but they are calling for public help, suggesting they're still short of detail. This part of a surge in American gun violence, 163 mass shootings so far this year, where 4 or more are killed or wounded. There were 9 mass shootings in the United States just yesterday. One of those happening in a Louisville park, 2 dead. The Kentucky city's still in shock from a mass shooting in a bank there 5 days earlier.
This is every night. This is not okay. This has to change.
In a statement today, President Biden noted that guns are the leading killer of children in the United States. He called the situation outrageous and unacceptable.
A major advertising campaign backed by former Deputy Prime Minister John Anderson has launched, calling on Australians to vote no at the Voice referendum. The campaign, called Recognise a Better Way, will feature Indigenous opponents of the Voice.
People out there are very concerned that it will be run by bureaucrats as we were run back in the 1950s.
It comes as the Prime Minister joins forces with a former Liberal MP and ultra-marathon runner to champion the Yes campaign. Former politician Pat Farmer vowing to run 1,400 kilometres around Australia to raise awareness and support. The Foreign Minister has defended Australia's $368 billion nuclear submarines deal with the US and UK. Rachel Baxter reports from Canberra.
Good afternoon. Since her appointment to Foreign Minister Penny Wong's focus has been on building relationships in the Pacific, including China. So it was fitting that the opening remarks to her major address at the National Press Club were about averting war and maintaining peace, touching on the obvious issues like coercive trade measures, touting Labor's bid to repair ties and bolster investment in the Asia-Pacific to ensure future security. And she plans to have visited every country in the region except for Myanmar by the first anniversary of the Albanese government in a few months' time. She also played down the idea that conflict is the consequence of Australia's decision to acquire nuclear-powered submarines with the arrangement with the United States and United Kingdom, and that the speed and scale of military build-up in the region meant Australia must have credible defence capabilities.
We start with the reality that China is going to continue to keep being China. A great power like China uses every tool at its disposal to maximise its own resilience and influence.
Meanwhile, Jim Chalmers has also had his sights set on the international stage after returning from a series of meetings with global financial leaders in the United States. The Treasurer warning the state of the global economy will continue to have implications here at home, with pressures like persistent inflation, costly government deficits and slow economic growth presenting major challenges.
My budget, our budget, in 3 weeks' time, will forecast for 23 and 24 the weakest 2 years of global growth in the last 2 decades, apart from the depths of the GFC and of COVID.
The federal budget will be handed down on May 9.
Well, let's get a check of today's weather now. Tony, great to have you back. We're in for a cooler change soon.
And it's great to be back, Kendall. Yes, the wind has already changed direction this afternoon and we'll start to feel that cooler air from tomorrow. Checking the strongest gusts, unlike the westerly winds of the past couple of weeks, today's southerlies have been felt most right on the coast. Cape Morton leading the charge on 72 kilometres an hour, Double Island Point not far behind on 65, and the Gold Coast Seaway and Coolangatta just raising the bat for the half-ton there. Temperature-wise, it's cooled down with those winds on the Gold Coast while the heat remains elsewhere. Brisbane, Greenbank, Archerfield, Ipswich and the Sunshine Coast all reach 30 degrees, 27 at Redcliffe and also for those Gold Coast locations. Toowoomba cooler again at the top of the range, a top of 25 degrees. As I mentioned, cooling down tomorrow. Kendall, I'll be back soon with the forecast.
See you then. Thank you, Tony. Still to come, a family affair for the Danish royals. Princess Mary steps out in a Queen's birthday celebration. Also, a pregnant teenager arrested after a ram raid spree. And the record-breaking test run of the Starship rocket that could take humans to Mars.
In 7 News, an off-duty policeman shocking street confrontation. New developments in the Leslie Trotter case. Your say on the big issues facing Queensland.
Results of our exclusive survey.
D-Day for Kurang Cove switch-off and Sir Joe's secret escape tunnel.
7 News takes you inside.
7 News.
3 beautiful young women vanished from the streets of Claremont.
What's our killer? When do we make our move?
The heart-stopping climax of the unmissable drama event, The Claremont Murders, tonight on 7 and 7+.
New kid, eh?
Hey, Miranda.
I'll show you around.
Okay.
This is Audible. Here you'll find some of the greatest storytellers, like Adam.
This podcast needs more umami.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And you'll love Flex.
If you want to thrive, I've got the formula.
Well, I'd like to thrive.
And this is you. You'll want these.
Hello. Thanks so much for listening.
Audible. Start listening today.
Cars don't need to express themselves, but people do.
Get a logbook service and 12 months free roadside assistance on almost any car on the Australian road. T's and C's apply. My Car, Tyre and Auto. People first.
We can take charge of our home loan, adjust it with speed,
get ahead of repayments,
and pause them if we need.
We can feel a little lighter with CommBank in our corner.
a lower rate to help us use our money smarter.
Get one of the lowest rates with CommBank, Australia's #1 home loan, for all the ways we can.
Retire riverside in Newstead and be inspired by river, city and mountain views. Secure your 1, 2 or 3 bedroom residence today. Come home to the height of retirement. Visit rondotowers.org.au.
Buddy, do you take Barbara in sickness and in health?
Wait, does this mean I have to get HBF couples cover?
No, but sharing with someone you love is pretty great.
Yeah, true. Proceed.
And in health.
Hang on, I don't have to share my extras limits, do I?
No, at HBF you get your own extras limits all to yourself.
Oh, phew. Did you hear that, Barb?
That's it.
Babs!
See ya.
What did I do?
Share your life, not your extras limits, with HBF. That's healthier insurance.
HBF.
Cheers to Rach in Townsville. Loves a beverage, hates landfill. And cheers to Marty, who knows how to make a bit of coin out of a party. Cheers to the Changemakers.
There's no greater way to honour our Anzacs than by keeping their spirit alive.
Chauveau, this week on Sunrise, I'm doing something a bit unusual.
Oh, Nat, this is such an eye-opener. Here's a sneak peek.
Okay, I've just got off air. I've taken every skerrick of makeup off. So it's like painting your face with dots. It's so weird.
See what a difference it makes. Why millions of women are now hooked. And Queensland's Back to School Week special. The easiest, healthiest and cheapest way to pack the school lunchbox. Exclusively on Sunrise this week.
2 teenagers, including a heavily pregnant 19-year-old, have been arrested following a spree of ram raids in Rockhampton. The car smashed into a pharmacy and bottle shop, causing thousands of dollars worth of damage.
There's about 3 or 4 people who ran inside and they've then tried to steal whatever they could find inside the pharmacies.
It's believed multiple other teenagers were involved in the raids. Queensland Rail is facing 3 charges after a fatal train crash west of Rockhampton in 2021. A 49-year-old man was killed and 2 workers were injured. It's alleged QR failed to comply with its duties under rail safety national law. Queensland Rail says it won't contest the charges. Denmark's royal family has celebrated Queen Margrethe's 83rd birthday with a parade by the Royal Guard. Australian-born Princess Mary and her family joined the monarch on the balcony at the palace to greet well-wishers. Hugh Whitfeld reports.
Queen Margrethe greeted crowds on the balcony of Amalienborg Palace in Copenhagen, and either side on the 2 balconies, her 2 sons and their families, Crown Prince Frederik and Australian Crown Princess Mary, of course, and their children, and Prince Joachim, his wife, and his children as well, before they all joined Her Majesty on the central balcony in what was quite a moment, because over the last couple of months there's been a falling out in the palace after the Queen decided to strip titles from her younger son's children in an effort to slim down the monarchy. Now, that upset children who had the titles as prince and princesses. They are now known as counts and countesses.
So we really like what she stands for, how she represents Denmark. It's really nice to see that it goes beyond the politics and so on. And Denmark is a small kingdom in that sense. So it's really nice to see them being represented also with the culture.
It does appear, though, that to some extent the relationship has been patched up, certainly patched up to the extent that they can stand next to each other on a balcony to celebrate the Queen's birthday. Soon, Prince Joachim and his family will be heading to Washington, D.C. as he takes up a position in the Danish embassy there, possibly a chance to give everyone in the Danish royal family a bit of distance.
A new, bigger SpaceX rocket is due to lift off shortly, and those involved in the test flight say it will be a game changer for future space travel. The massive Starship rocket will launch from Texas and follows the successful testing of its booster.
Right now, when we launch Crew Dragon, we could take 4 people in there up to the space station. Starship theoretically could carry maybe as many as 100 people at a time. So that's a big change.
SpaceX believes the sheer size and scale of the Starship will make future space travel more affordable. Still to come, the last-minute Olympic venue locked in for the southeast. What will it be used for and where will it be built? And in sport, the turn Queensland's Jack Miller wishes he could take back.
Tonight on 7 News at 6, Sir Joe's secret escape tunnel. Why did he build it? Where does it lead?
7 News takes you inside.
Queensland Parliament's hidden history.
Certainly stories of the place being haunted late at night, secret passageways that connect with secret stairwells.
7 News, tonight.
We've been doing the show for 16 years and we've never...
Stories of the place being haunted.
Every day, Bupa helps prepare millions of Australians for life's ups, downs, and up agains. Search Bupa, CanStar's outstanding value health insurance for 2022.
So before Light and Easy, I did the 3-day water diet and it was just crazy. I wish I had just jumped on Light and Easy a lot earlier. It's real food and it just tastes great.
Not revolutionary, just good food and great results. Light and Easy.
Your dishwasher needs help. But when was the last time you gave it Rinse Aid? Finish Rinse Aid added regularly helps dry your dishes, glasses and plastics. For a brilliant shine and 2 times better drying, try Finish Rinse Aid.
This is Pain Relief. Powered by nature. From the makers of Panadol.
All eyes on me.
This is Pananatra.
Rexona Advanced gives you non-stop protection activated by movement. Tested to the limit.
I've been going for hours and still no swear.
Try Rexona Advanced 72-hour non-stop protection.
Queensland, make more from your solar. AGL Solar Savers now gives you 12 cents per kilowatt hour feed-in tariff for the first 14 kilowatt hours per day. Now that makes more sense. Switch to AGL today.
To think we're all just tiny dots on dots, formed from the nuclear ash of dead stars. 6 million years in the making. Life emerging and re-emerging, over and over. How special that anything exists at all. Wow. Let alone Aldi's special buys. It's special you can buy. Aldi, good, different.
We spend our lives surrounded by houses. From your first cubby house to renting a terrace house. The worst house on the best street, or that special house to house your fleet. From the how much is this to the let's bid for that. Sold. And a lender who says it's yours now, congrats. In the end, there's one house for you, and that's home. Realestate.com.au, Australia's #1 address in property.
This week, Oz Lotto is bringing the big Aussie fun with a $3 million jackpot. Not even close. Run on in this Tuesday for a shot at $3 million.
I work in the city with traffic, pollution, Ron refusing to adjust the aircon to a normal temperature. I protect my skin with this. Cetaphil's got your back, and your arms, and your legs, and your face.
In 7 News, an off-duty policeman shocking street confrontation. New developments in the Leslie Trotter case. Your say on the big issues facing Queensland.
Results of our exclusive survey.
D-Day for Curran Cove switch-off and Sir Joe's secret escape tunnel.
7 News takes you inside.
7 News.
New details on Logan's brand new Olympic venue have been revealed, which includes a 7,000-seat stadium. But the exact location of the precinct remains a mystery. Jacqueline Robson reports.
The exact location of Logan's new Olympic venue is still a secret, but tender details reveal it'll be close to the entertainment centre, a nearby train station, and able to host a range of sports. It was a last-minute addition to Queensland's Olympic venues announced by the Prime Minister in February. The sports precinct was signed off by the Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers and will be built in his electorate. Now new details reveal what it will feature, including a 7,000-seat stadium and 9 indoor courts, basketball, netball, volleyball and gymnastics, as well as wheelchair rugby and wheelchair basketball. Just some of the sports the precinct is earmarked for. It's not clear yet whether it will be to host games or training.
And interestingly, in all the documentation and all the announcements, this extra facility was not included. So the question is, why was it included at last minute? It just happens to be in the Federal Treasurer's electorate.
Preliminary planning and scoping works are underway, but where and how much it will cost are the unknowns. Tonight in 7 News at 6 o'clock, the Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers hits back at pork barrelling accusations, why the multi-million-dollar facility must be built here.
Well, let's get a quick look at today's sport now. Here's Webby.
Thank you, Kendall. Hello, everyone. The Cowboys' season from hell has gotten a whole heap worse, with captain Jason Taumalolo facing up to 6 weeks on the sidelines. He'll go under the knife on Thursday after carrying a knee cartilage injury for a month. Down the M1, the Titans are rallying behind their forward line general. Big Tino wore the blame for their loss to the Broncos.
We can't use that as an excuse. That's just Tino as a person. He wears his heart on his sleeve and he's always the first person there when things go hard.
They face the Dolphins Sunday. Forward Kenny Bromwich will miss the match with suspension. Kate Campbell's bid to become the first Australian swimmer to compete in 5 Olympic Games in Paris starts tonight. In her first proper race since Tokyo, the 4-time gold medalist qualified 5th fastest for tonight's 100-metre freestyle final at the Australian Swimming Championships on the Gold Coast. Emma McKeon, Shayna Jack and Molly O'Callaghan also qualified. Queensland's Jack Miller was pushing for his first podium finish of the MotoGP season when disaster struck at the Grand Prix of Americas. The Aussie rider had charged from 10th to 3rd, but found the gravel with 14 laps to go.
Oh no, Jack Miller has gone down. Can you believe it or not?
9 riders failed to finish what was a brutal race in Texas. Spaniard Alex Rins was the last man standing, claiming the checkered flag. Kendall, plenty more sport at 6.
We will see you then. Thank you, Webby. And it's time to see what else is coming up in 7 News at 6 and our Gold Coast Bulletin. Let's bring in Sharon and Amanda. Sharon, an off-duty police officer has been recorded headbutting a teenager.
Yes, Kendall, tonight only 7 News can show you the video, what triggered the shocking confrontation. We speak with the 14-year-old involved. Also, the game-changing heart procedure performed for the first time in the Southern Hemisphere here in Brisbane. How it will save lives. And Sir Joe's secret escape tunnel below Parliament House. What's inside and where does it lead? Find out tonight at 6. A bit of tunnel vision for you there, Kendall. It is a fascinating story.
A real mystery. Looking forward to it. Thank you, Sharon. Amanda, what do you have for us in the Gold Coast News at 5:30?
Well, Kendall, it's D-Day for residents at Curran Cove, battling to keep power and water connected to the island. Also, stolen car chaos. How a woman was targeted, her car stolen twice in a matter of weeks. And hundreds of concerned residents join forces over the future of the Arundel Country Club. Will it be raised and repurposed? Those stories and more coming up soon in the news at 5:30.
We'll see you then. Thank you so much, Amanda, and thank you, Sharon. Our Gold Coast viewers are off to the chase. You can join Amanda and Steve for your local news at 5:30. And of course, Sharon and Max are back with 7 News at 6 o'clock.
These 4 strangers must work as a team to win